welcome. Today, we're diving into the very heart of a cataclysm. But this isn't just a story about rain in an ark. No, this is about a total system failure, a cosmic reboot. We're going deep into the hidden meaning of the flood.
The Zohar describes this event with two very distinct, simultaneous actions. All the fountains of the great deep were broken up, and the windows of heaven were opened. Now, you have to understand this is not just some poetic language. It's a precise schematic of a spiritual reality that is completely collapsing. Let's try and visualize what this actually means.
So, just imagine the very foundations of reality giving way. From below, you've got the Tahom Rabbah, the great deep. And it doesn't just seep out, it bursts forth. The Zohar says these waters were boiling hot, a judgment of pure red din erupting against the corruption of that time. I mean, this is the world itself, from its very core, rejecting its inhabitants.
And then, from above, the Arobot Hashemayim, the windows of heaven, they aren't just opened for a little storm, they are unsealed. A whole celestial ocean, a torrent of raw, unmediated divine energy, just pours down. And this isn't life-giving rain, not at all. It's the overwhelming white light of mercy that's been inverted into this crushing, purifying force.
And then the two forces mean you've got the boiling rage from the depths and the crushing weight from the heights. And here's the thing, they don't just collide, they converge in this horrifyingly perfect synchronization. This is the dead giveaway, the signature of a total system failure, an event planned and executed from every single level of existence all at once.
Okay, so let's dive into this. To really get what just happened, we're going to journey through all its layers. We'll start with the storm itself, then uncover the secret of these two different waters. After that, we'll analyze the anatomy of the system crash, see how the universe rebooted, and then finally bring this cosmic blueprint right back to our own reality. This is going to be the complete journey.
So, let's go a little deeper. To understand this event, we have to look past the physical description. I mean, the core of this whole cataclysm, its entire purpose, is hidden in the very nature of these two waters. And this, of course, leads the mystics to ask a really fundamental question.
Why a flood of water? And this is the big one. Why this perfectly synchronized two-front assault? Why not just, a fire or a massive earthquake? Well, the answer reveals the fundamental structure of reality itself. A structure that, by the way, is operating inside you and me right now. To get it, we need to talk about the Kabbalistic concept of the upper and lower waters.
First up, you have the Mayim Elyonim, or the upper waters. This represents the transcendent spiritual reality. Think of it as the dimension of pure potential. It's the source of all divine flow, and it's associated with the Sephirah of Binah, which is understanding. It's the realm of intellect and of boundless mercy, or Chesed. In the cosmic system, these are considered the male waters, the principle of giving.
And then below them, perfectly designed to receive that flow, are the Me'im Tachtonim, the lower waters. Now, this is our physical reality. It's the world of action and manifestation. This is the domain of the Sphira of Malchut, the kingdom, and its entire purpose is to be a vessel, a perfect container for that spiritual energy coming from above. So these are the female waters, the principle of receiving and giving form to that potential.
Now, what's so interesting here is that this isn't a list of opposites. Not at all. It's actually a blueprint for a perfect partnership. You see, in a healthy reality, the upper waters of Binah, the source of mercy and potential, they flow down to fill and enrich the lower waters of Malchut. Intellect becomes action. Potential becomes reality. This is the engine of all life, all blessing.
So, and this is the crucial point, the Zohar reveals the flood wasn't just some random punishment. It was a perfect measure-for-measure response. This is a fundamental law of reality. The sin of that generation was the corruption of union, the absolute severing of the sacred connection between giving and receiving. So the judgment had to come from the source of union itself, the waters. The very forces meant to unite in life-giving harmony were the ones that erupted in judgment.
To put this in modern terms, just think of a complete system crash. The lower waters, Malchut, that's the front end, the user interface of reality. Humanity's actions corrupted this interface so badly that it just couldn't receive or process the divine data flow anymore. Meanwhile, the back end, the servers of Binah, the upper waters, kept trying to send this benevolent flow, but with a busted front end, it had nowhere to go. This created a catastrophic overflow. The system didn't just crash on one end, it was a simultaneous critical failure of both the front end and the back end, which turned the flow of blessing into a destructive flood of raw data.
Okay, now let's explore the actual architecture of this collapse. We've seen the what and the why. Now let's get into the how.
This is the Sephirotic mechanics of judgment, the precise engineering of how the universe's entire operating system failed. So in a healthy cosmos, divine energy is supposed to flow through this perfect system. The Sephirot are kind of like the primary organs of reality. Energy starts in Binah, the upper sea of potential. It flows through Tiferet, the principle of balance, which harmonizes everything. Then it gets channeled through Yesod, the foundation, whose whole job is to create that secret union and funnel the flow into Malchut, our reality. This is the blueprint for life.
But the entire system broke at one critical point, Yesod. And the Zohar is super explicit about this. It identifies the main sin as spilling seed upon the earth, which is a physical metaphor for a much deeper spiritual failure. See, Yesod is the sephira of connection, of channeling life force from potential into proper manifestation. When this channel was corrupted, it wasn't just damaged, its entire function was inverted. The unifier became a divider. The link between heaven and earth was totally severed.
And this just brilliantly shows the mechanics of the whole disaster. When the flow is blocked, the very nature of the energy changes. Harmony becomes din, pure judgment. The abundant life-giving mercy of Binah, with no vessel to receive it, has nowhere to go but down in an uncontrolled torrent. That's the windows of heaven opening. At the exact same time, Malchut, the vessel, now totally empty and unfulfilled, erupts upwards with the furious boiling energy of its own frustrated potential. And that's the fountains of the great deep breaking open.
You know, the numbers in the story aren't random at all. They're codes that reveal the scope of this whole reset. The two waters show that the core duality of reality itself was perverted. The judgment fell upon the four directions, meaning it was a total, global event. The failure of both Binah and Malchut implies that all 10 Sephirot, the entire divine structure, was compromised. And the 40 days? Well, this is a known cycle for purification. It actually corresponds directly to the 40 lashes in the Torah, a full measure of judgment designed not to destroy, but to purify and reset.
So the system crashed. A full-scale judgment was executed. But the goal was never just destruction, it was a reset. So let's reframe this whole process through two different lenses. One for the gamer and one for the engineer that might be in all of us.
Okay, first, the video game version. Imagine the players, that's humanity, discovered and exploited a glitch in the game's code, this law of union. The corruption got so widespread, it started to mess up the entire game world. The skybox, the heavens, it started glitching out, and the ground terrain, the earth, became unstable. So the developers saw the whole level was unsalvageable, and they initiated a hard reset. They triggered an event, the flood, that just wiped the level clean, deleting all the corrupted files. And only one player, Noah, who had a clean save file, was kept in a safe zone, the Ark, to start the new, rebooted version of the game.
Now for the cosmic engineering version. A system-wide critical alert gets triggered. Energy flow between the primary power source, Binah, and the manifestation terminal, Malchut, is severed at the main conduit, Yesod. This is a catastrophic failure. So an emergency protocol activates automatically. Both systems initiate a simultaneous purge. The power source flushes its conduits from above, the terminal expels its corrupted contents from below. The entire OS is then taken offline for 40 cycles for a deep-level cleansing, and finally, the system reinitializes from the last stable backup. The blueprint of life in Noah's Ark, restoring core functionality to the cosmos.
Okay, let's bring all of this home. This ancient blueprint, it's not just for understanding some cosmic event way back in the past. It is a diagnostic tool for our present. This whole structure, upper waters, lower waters, and the channel connecting them, it's a map of our own inner cosmos.
So here's the crucial point. Your mind, your consciousness, your highest ideals, those are your personal Mayim Elyonim, your upper waters. And your actions, your speech, how you actually show up in the world, those are your Mayim Tachtonim, your lower waters. When the channel between our inner potential and our outer reality is blocked, when our actions don't align with our wisdom, we create our own personal floods of frustration and anxiety. So the question we're left with is this: where is that flow blocked in your life? And what do you have to do to repair the channel?
Thank you for joining us for this complete journey through the Pardes. We hope these ancient truths help you and your family improve your own dimensions this week. If you enjoyed this full chapter deep dive, please like, subscribe, and share which part of the journey touched your soul in the comments. We'll see you in the next chapter.